I ran out of money on my phone, and she asked why. There's a big cap on your rate, so I'm guessing you used it for social media. Her statement seemed hurried, and her voice carried a note of dishonesty despite the strain. Why don't I look it up in my account? No, you can check it later. Let's go to bed. She declared imperiously, I have big plans for you tonight. I usually take the initiative. She's 42, and her intimacy is just a marital duty. The next day, February 24th, I went to her office and saw that she was out of her SNS package. I don't usually use text messages. In all honesty, I thought I was just seeing things. It's been a while since I've checked her calls. I've been getting more and more trusting of her lately. I asked for detailed stats and found something I didn't expect to see at all. A steady stream of text messages to the same number. I looked up the number on the internet and almost immediately found out who it belonged to. It was a businessman whose wife used to work in a home appliance store. The man, as my wife says, he seems decent and respectable. The facts speak for themselves, and I feel my pulse going over 100. My body instantly went into a state of stress for a few days. As usual, I get home from work an hour and a half ahead of my wife. I take a few laps around the apartment and then attempt to finish packing the closet. She sees me acting in this manner and asks, "Why do you feel so depressed about not having a face?" I tell her, "There's nothing wrong. I just feel a little queasy. I'm delaying the controversy and ending my own. I'm in a bad way. I need to get to her phone myself and put off the scandal. I need to get to her phone and wait for her to shower. I've noticed I have access to a smartphone, but she's always in control of her phone. Even when she pops into the bathroom, she puts it in front of the door. There's no chance we'll go to bed. I somehow fall asleep, though my heart never slows down. By morning it was unbearable to lie down and tell myself that I was sleeping. I periodically look at the scoreboard of the electronic clock, and then it's 5. I get up and get dressed. My heart beats in a new, already familiar rhythm. They say I have to sleep with the problem first, and then act in terms of time. I think it is possible to consider that I have slept. My wife cannot sleep when I walk around the apartment. She gets up, goes to the kitchen to peel potatoes. She has not cooked anything since the evening. Here is my chance. The noise of the water in the kitchen. I grab her phone. Before I even unlock it, my wife is already standing on the doorstep. It's 5. It's 5 a.m. and we're in the middle of a fight. Bear with me. My neighbors are pointing at the monitor and asking what this is. I point to the endless correspondence and ask what it is. It's insignificant. It's not relevant. It's not present. It's correct. And it didn't take me long to discover that I had my own. Copperfield, I grab the phone and tell my wife that I'll read the texts regardless of the cost. I also spit slightly and shout at her. All of them are deleted, she says. Hey neighbors, she adds. Since when do you delete text messages? She asks. She lowers the pressure and lets me unlock the phone, but she tries to catch the moment and snatches it out of my hand. I'm on my guard though, and see that there's no texting. I've erased everything. We're just talking about work. How could you think that? Give me the phone, but it's just getting I started by opening the Chinese site on my computer, which is sensed by Xiaomi. I chose the barcode scanner, and in a bit of a struggle for the right to hold the phone, I got authorized to the site. I chose the folder messaging, and lo and behold, the deleted text messages were synchronously erased in the vault by 7. I'm free on Monday. I've had enough. We sit down for breakfast as we have done for years. We talk quietly like intelligent people since I heard nothing intelligible from my wife. A firm decision came instantly from somewhere in the deepest layers of my subconscious. The brain processor had no time to process and calculate the rationality of this decision, but I'm already beginning to act. I'm filing for divorce. No options. It's Monday. 5 February, 25 years of our life together, a silver wedding anniversary. That's the day I'm filing for divorce. I'm putting an end to the relationship, even though I'm not sure if I'm bluffing or not. But I have hope that everything will be okay. As I sit at the table and watch her face, I realize more and more that she's not in any pain. She's still settling into her comfort zone. Suddenly, her eyes moisten. Finally, I know that. She must be in as much pain as I am, otherwise what's the point? Why are you crying? She remembered something about the children again. I am surprised to find that she doesn't care about me. I'm not taking the bus to work today. I head towards the garage to get my car. Now I'm going to do a lot of driving around town on my lunch break with a prepared PR out of the negotiation fragment. I head to the store where the spouse of the person who dared to unscrupulously meddle in our family works from. Right, let's get this woman to do the work she's already given up over the years. I won't call that foolish, it's illogical. My experience tells me to look for different answers when the day is almost over. I dash home, fill a large bag and head to the cottage. I would take a shovel to the snow and fight a valiant struggle against it. The temperature in the house is minus. It is not meant for living in during the winter. The next day, my student son is back in town for an unscheduled vacation. I only keep in touch with him by phone. I didn't go home. I had to lie to my son that I was renting an apartment. I couldn't let her know where I was, but she figured it out on 23 February. She found me in the yard with a shovel. She rushed me in a cab to come home. I need you. I wasn't going back to my comfort zone. I was trying to explain to her how we were going to divide the property. My wife announced that she was staying. I made it clear that she didn't believe me when I said she wouldn't survive in such conditions. She went into the cabin and then quickly scurried away. My phone now held a printout of my wife's phone calls from the beginning of the year. By morning I had learned them by heart. There was a call on the 1st of January, apparently to congratulate me. There was a call on the 14th of January, where we chatted for about 5 minutes. There were calls and texts on the 31st of January, and then some kind of crap in February. There were calls and texts on the 18th, too. From the start to the end of the day, I couldn't see how I could be distracted by such a lot of work. My wife's voice was going round and round in my head. You have to trust your wife. We were just talking about work. You have to trust your wife. In the evening, I popped by my apartment for an hour while my wife was at work. I tidied up and chatted to my son. He reminded me what century I was living in. He has no problem with this phone bill. He told his older brother that he was sure his father had gone insane after speaking with him. My physical condition worsened much further on Tuesday. The main issue was insomnia. I knew that I would have a stroke if I continued working until the evening. The morning after the planning session, I agreed with the director that I would leave in the afternoon and began to finish the urgent tasks. I also made an appointment with a psychologist. Suddenly at 9 midnight M, my wife showed up with a container of hot lunch and a look that said she loved me but was sad for me. I put her in the car and asked her what had happened and when. This is what she told me, should be built on trust. Did you ever wish a happy new year? No, I didn't. What do you mean, no, the call from the 1st of January at lunch? I said hello to everyone, so I forgot. What was the call on 14 January? Well, you remember the problem I had at work. I asked him for advice at the time. Milandel didn't have a problem like that. Trust your wife. Wait, you didn't call him at all after the 18th? So, he doesn't know what kind of fuss he's making about us. You didn't tell him? I did. Where's the call? I called from. I used the landlady's phone so you wouldn't get upset. Come home, please, I need you. Okay, I have an opportunity to recover a text message. Will you give me the phone? Of course I will. Here you go. Take whatever you want. You're going to get a text with a code today. Will you give me the numbers? Yeah, do whatever you want. There's nothing in those texts. We were talking about work. I asked about his kids. I told him how we were doing. He asked about you too. I don't have anybody. You've got yourself all wound up. Come on, I need you. I want to grow old with you. You see, there's spiritual treason. You have so little contact with me. You spend all your time on social media. I miss talking to you. You know, I only have girls on Facebook. I sell flowers there. I'm sorry. Let's start over. Okay, I have work to do. She also warned me that this businessman's wife called her from this number. She said some nasty things about her. I had the pleasure of hearing from my wife about the missed call from the number on 23 February at 2 a.m. After the call, I felt like a bit of a fool. It was actually quite comforting, though. There was this inner voice pushing me to act irrationally and without thinking about anyone, not even myself. My son wasn't home after lunch, so I threw a cushion onto the couch as soon as I walked into the flat. I had no choice but to collapse on the couch and forget to sleep. I made an effort to turn on the computer and open the Chinese website. Miraculously, I managed to open the messaging folder without any SMS requests. I looked and saw that all the messages had been deleted. Everything is meaningless. I wanted to see them, and see for myself that. I was a bit of a nutcase and thought I'd go back to the normal world to make life easier. I tried to close the page, but when I had no luck navigating around the site, I saw the trash button on the menu. I pressed it, and all the deleted text messages appeared in front of me. What I saw was a complete surprise. There were all the details of an intimate conversation. I saw a conversation with pictures and details of my wife and her lover. My suspicions were confirmed. I checked the time. I had plenty of time. The wedding anniversary was only 2 days away. I booked a restaurant for dinner and sent invitations to all our friends and acquaintances. I also sent invitations to my wife's parents, and my own parents were happy and relieved. Then came the day of our anniversary. The guests gathered and started to congratulate us. While they were doing that, the waiter handed each guest an envelope with some private messages and pictures of my wife with her lover. Everyone was surprised. I looked around and saw that everyone was confused, so I told them to open the envelopes I'd prepared. I could see the expressions on our guests' faces change as they read the notes and looked at the pictures. My son was looking at his mother with disgust, but while my wife was pretending to be sick, the man arrived at the restaurant, and everyone there recognized him from his pictures. My wife was surprised, and the man seemed taken aback by all the attention. I had invited my wife's lover to the restaurant using her phone the day before the party, and he accepted. My father grinned at me as I saw the guests' looks and said, "Son, you're the best. You would be wrong to believe that my wife's lover got away with it since his wife had also received the identical package." The lover's belongings were already packed when he arrived home. My children no longer had a relationship with my ex. My wife and I got divorced, and I carried on living my life to the fullest. What's your take on Op? Thanks for joining us in our stories where revenge is served hot. Please consider subscribing to our channel to ensure your next chef remains loyal. Tune in for the next one to get your revenge appetite fulfilled. If you're below 18, hold on, it's not for the faint-hearted.